Hey, friends, before we dive into today's episode, I just want to know or let you know that as a mompreneur, I know that you might be feeling completely burned out. You might be overwhelmed. You keep procrastinating on work, but I understand why you're doing that. You're trying to keep all the balls in the air. Maybe you're stuck in a people pleasing loop where you really can't say no without feeling guilty, and you're struggling in that confidence to show up powerfully in your work. And so much of this isn't external in your behaviors. And that's what we try to do first is address the behaviors and change our behaviors before we change our mindset. But it's an internal thing to work on. And so I want to help you with this with life coaching so that you can have simple solutions that you need to succeed in your work without sacrificing at home. And it all starts with booking your clarity call. And I only have a couple of spots left in my coaching. And so if this is interesting to you and you're like, I'm tired of waking up every day with the same thoughts, the same actions, same results, go to the show notes and book your free clarity call. All right. Now let's get to the episode. Welcome to Remix Moments with Martine, where we will remix your mindset one moment at a time. I'm your host, Martine Williams, and I'm here to bring you a quick burst of inspiration, insight, and a fresh spin on your mompreneur journey. In just a few minutes, we'll remix your mindset, energize your day, and keep you moving forward with purpose. Let's dive in to today's moment. Well, hey there, my amazing mompreneurs. Welcome to another Remix Moment with Martine, where we remix your mindset one moment at a time. And today we're going to be talking about something that hits close to home for so many of us, and that is breaking up with busy. I don't know about you, but there was a time when I thought being busy meant I was successful. It felt like if I wasn't juggling a million things, then I wasn't doing enough. Like nothing felt like enough. Does that sound familiar? Like I almost wore like busy as a badge of honor. Well, here's the thing. Being busy and being productive are not the same thing. And you might be thinking, well, duh, but how many of us stay in the busy cycle? So today we are going to break up with busy and get real about what truly matters. Let me ask you something. How often do you catch yourself saying, I'm just so busy? Or I don't have time for that. And when you do, does it feel good when you're saying those things? Or does it feel like you're carrying the weight of the world? So this came up on a training that I did the other night for a group of women who are on their health journey. And one of the things that I shared with them is when we say, I don't have time for that, I really want you to think about, it's just not a priority for me. If you stop saying, I don't have time for that, and you replaced it with, it's just not a priority for me, it would change the game for how you see what you're saying. You would see how the busyness and I don't have time for that it's just almost become a default response, right? Or we feel like we need to be continuing to be busy, and we wear, again, that busy as a badge of honor. But here's the truth bomb. It can be a badge of honor, but it can also be a trap. I like to call busy a disease. It really is a disease. And so many of us have it. And I'm speaking to you and I'm speaking to myself at the same time because I have learned to catch myself now and saying like, oh, I've just been so busy, or, I'm too busy to do that. Like, am I really too busy? Or am I just not making that thing a priority? Being busy doesn't always mean we're moving toward what matters. Often we're just spinning our wheels, doing things out of obligation because you've always done it, or people are depending on you to do it, out of habit because you've always done it, or like fear of missing out. And then so you're like, I'm just going to add this to my plate because I'm afraid I'm going to miss out on something. I know someone is picking up what I'm putting down here. And so here's the mindset shift I want you to make today. Busy is not the goal. Intentional is the goal. Think about it this way. When you fill your day with tasks just to stay busy, you're pouring your energy into things that don't really move the needle. But when you're intentional, you're clear about what matters most, and you focus your energy on those priorities. It's the difference between I have to and I choose to. I have to finish this never-ending to-do list versus I choose to focus on the one or two things that are going to make the real difference today. Do you feel that shift? It's also the shift of I have to I get to. So how do we break up with busy? First, it starts with an honest audit of your time. Look, this is not the fun part. Actually looking in the mirror or looking at the audit and seeing where you are spending your time on the things. Like, are they the things that are aligned with your goals, your values, or your priorities? So are there things that they're just busyness? Now, I'm not saying to just drop everything and only do what feels good, but we have to be strategic with where we place our energy. We only have a certain amount of energy and time to allot to things. So I want you to ask yourself, what can I let go of, delegate, or even postpone without my world falling apart? Like when you look at your time audit, and I actually have had several of my current clients do this, and it's been fascinating to see what they're spending their time on. For some of them, it's not that they're spending too much time working, it's that they're doing too little of things that bring joy. Remember, that can also create the burnout. So what can you let go? When you look at the list, what can you let go of? What can you delegate? Or for right now, it just needs to be postponed. And your world's not going to fall apart if you do that. Another powerful step is switching from the language of have to choose to. So I mentioned that just a few minutes ago. So instead of saying, I have to do this or that, start saying, I choose to. That tiny shift, so tiny shift, reminds you that you're in control of your time. You're not a victim to your schedule. You're the designer of it. And you had the power to create your overcommitted calendar, your overcommitted schedule, your yes girl schedule. And you also have the power to undo that calendar, to undo that schedule. For example, instead of I have to make dinner while responding to emails, try I choose to pause work at 5 p.m. to have uninterrupted family time. Like, doesn't that feel lighter already? Like, it feels like you have power there, right? You're choosing to pause work to have uninterrupted time with your family. So here's your call to action, mama. Take a look at your schedule this week and do a busy audit. I want you identifying one task that's filling up space without adding value and let it go. Replace it with something intentional, whether it's time to work on your business, time for self-care, or time to just rest. I was just having this conversation with a client today about, it wasn't really about rest, but it was about exercise, like being productive, or, that's like an afterthought. Like if I get everything done, then I can treat myself to exercise or movement because it's self-focused. One of the most productive things you can do is to rest. So remember, it's not about doing more or working harder. It's about doing what matters most. And we don't find time for what matters most. We create the time for what matters most. And the way you can create the time is to actually do a time audit and look at your busyness and be honest with your busyness. And let's break up with busy and embrace being purposeful, intentional, and in control of how we spend our time. So thank you for joining me today for this remix moment. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, share this episode with a fellow mompreneur who could use a little more intention and a little less busy in her life. And until next time, I'm believing in you always. Well, that's it, friends, for this remix moment. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and I hope that you are feeling inspired and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Remember, even small moments can lead to big changes. If this moment made a difference, be sure to subscribe, share with your fellow moms, and leave me a quick review. Seriously, it means the world to me to hear from you. And until next time, I am believing in you, and I will catch you in the next moment.